In the glittering world of America's most famous political family, the Kennedys, there lies a dark and heartbreaking secret. This is the story of Rosemary Kennedy, the sister hidden away from the public eye, whose life became a casualty of ambition and a misguided medical procedure. Born in 1918, Rosemary was the third of 9 children. She was a beautiful, gentle soul, but struggled from a young age. While her siblings excelled, Rosemary faced developmental delays and learning difficulties. Her parents, Joseph and Rose Kennedy, described her as sweet-natured, but prone to mood swings and fits of frustration. As she grew into a young woman, her beauty attracted attention. But her emotional and intellectual challenges became more pronounced. In her early 20s, Rosemary's behavior grew more rebellious and difficult for the family to manage. She would sometimes sneak out at night, a cause of great worry for her parents. At the time, the Kennedy family was a rising political dynasty. With grand ambitions for their sons, Joe Jr., Jack, and Bobby, Joseph Kennedy Sr., the family patriarch was obsessed with maintaining a perfect public image. He feared that Rosemary's unpredictable behavior could cause a scandal and derail his sons' political careers. In 1941, without his wife Rose's full knowledge, Joseph Kennedy made a fateful and devastating decision. He learned of a new radical surgical procedure, the prefrontal lobotomy. Doctors Walter Freeman and James Watts promoted it as a miracle cure for a range of mental and emotional issues. Desperate for a solution, and driven by a desire to protect his family's reputation, Joe arranged for 23-year-old Rosemary to undergo the operation. The procedure was nothing short of barbaric. Rosemary was awake the entire time. The surgeons drilled holes into her skull and inserted a tool resembling a butter knife into her brain. They moved it up and down, severing connections in her frontal lobes. How did they know when to stop? They would ask her to recite prayers or sing songs. They stopped cutting only when her speech became completely incoherent. The result was a catastrophe. The lobotomy didn't cure Rosemary, it destroyed her. Her mental capacity was reduced to that of a toddler. She could no longer walk or speak clearly and would spend hours just staring at walls. She was left incontinent and required constant care for the rest of her life. The once vibrant young woman was gone, replaced by a ghost. Immediately following the botched surgery, Joseph Kennedy took action to conceal what he had done. He sent Rosemary to a private psychiatric hospital in upstate New York and told people she was simply unwell. For 2 decades, he never visited her. He even kept her location a secret from the rest of the family for years. Rose Kennedy herself didn't see her daughter for 20 years after the operation. The family's official story was that Rosemary was reclusive and had dedicated her life to teaching intellectually disabled children. It was a complete fabrication, a cover-up that lasted for decades. The truth of the lobotomy didn't fully emerge until long after JFK's presidency and assassination. It was until the 1980s that the family began to publicly acknowledge the real reason for Rosemary's condition. The profound guilt and sorrow over Rosemary's fate had a lasting impact on her siblings. Her sister, Eunice Kennedy Shriver, was particularly devastated. The tragedy of what happened to Rosemary became the driving force behind her life's work. Eunice saw how people with intellectual disabilities were marginalized and mistreated. Determined to create a world where they could be celebrated for their abilities, she founded a summer camp in her backyard. That small camp eventually grew into a global movement we all know today, the Special Olympics. Rosemary Kennedy spent the rest of her life in an institution in Wisconsin, cared for by nuns. She passed away in 2005 at the age of 86, with her surviving siblings by her side. Her story is a chilling reminder of the dark history of mental health treatment and a secret tragedy at the heart of an American dynasty. It's a painful but important story of loss, secrecy, and ultimately, a legacy of advocacy that rose from the ashes of a ruined life. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as compelling as we did, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. We have more real stories to share. See you next time.